Idubbbz finally apologized for everything. I accept his apology for the worst thing that he's done, which is that, you know what, Ethan was suing him for, and Ethan apparently dropped the lawsuit, which I'm glad. It was seeming like it was going to be really bad for the content creation community, the commentary community. But I didn't blame Ethan at all for trying to do it, because they went after his kids. It was weird. Saying a whole bunch of crazy, insane, weird shit. But I do not accept his apology for all of the other things. Like siding with terrorism supporters. And Idubbbz is still a bad person.
I am going to be talking about a very important and heavy topic for me. If you're unfamiliar with the context of any of this, I'll give you a brief rundown. But that is not the main purpose of this video. I do think it's important to share a little bit of my side of the story, but I don't want to take away from the purpose of this video, and that is to apologize to Ethan Klein and his family, especially his kids. Basically, Ethan is suing me for having rebroadcasted a statement made by Destiny on my stream. I did display the very disgusting comment for 40 minutes, and it was wrong. It was a comment from Destiny, and I even said that I don't agree with it, but it sort of highlights how I knew that it was a wrong thing to put out there into the universe and show people. You know, regardless of the point I was making, it was wrong. I was angry, and I was like, how do I get this guy to, one, not clip me, not mock me and harass me on his live stream, and two, this guy's a fucking bully. I'm angry. I'm angry that this multimillionaire is silencing people and suing people who have a much smaller audience than he does, and you know, can barely defend themselves.
I said this 3 weeks ago, and I'm going to say it yet again. I thought Ian's apology was the first one. I thought it was pretty sincere. I felt like it was honest. I mean, there's always that 10% chance that, you know, they're faking it just because they got the cease and desist. Very convenient timing, but I do feel like the first apology that we got a few weeks ago, a day after he got the cease and desist, I felt like it was genuine, and I feel like this one is also genuine. You cannot take back, especially online, but you cannot take back stuff you've said, stuff that you have reshared, or videos you've done. But what you can do, and you could do this IRL as well, is just be like, oh, so I was kind of wrong here. My bad. Let me fix that. You're taking accountability. You know you fucked up. You know you were wrong. At that point, it's like, what else can Idubbbz do to make things right? Maybe do a live stream for 24 hours where all he does is say the N-word. Maybe that could be pretty entertaining. But in all seriousness, there's like nothing else that Ian can do.
I don't like bullies, so I wanted to do something that would have an impact, and, you know, without checking in with myself of whether or not that was a right or wrong thing to do. I justified it in my head at the time. I was like, okay, well, it's not my words, and it's actually said by a really bad guy, Destiny. Not a fan of that guy. It's very clear that it was never the right thing to do. It was a comment about Ethan and his children, and it was disgusting. I said at the time in the stream that I don't agree with it, but still sharing it and broadcasting it to people for 40 minutes, that was an irresponsible and reckless thing to do, especially for parents. Like, there are many parents with kids out there who do not want to see that shit, and it's painful. And I'm sure it was extremely painful for Ethan and Hila to read that shit and have it pop up again and again and again. And just because it's coming from a piece of shit guy, and I'm showing it to people like, look what this piece of shit said, it's wrong. It's wrong to do. And I didn't, you know, I didn't come to this overnight, right? Like, to be frank, I'm angry. I do not like Ethan. I think he's doing a lot of damage to people online. And it changed the way that I was thinking about it.
See, right there. Right there is what I'm talking about. He thinks that Ethan is damaging people online. None of this is real, bro. None of this is real life. And you and your people brought it to real life. harassing him in public, skulls in the mail and stuff like that, trying to find the location of his children. Absolutely fucking weird and disgusting. Now, Idubbbz wasn't really into all that, but he was denying that it was all happening and was just making it worse by just feeding the vultures with his dead carcass of snark. They say that we're the ones who are haters. Hearts so full of hatred. But we don't bring this shit to real life. Until you do. Hurts, don't it?
I didn't think about it. I didn't ground myself. I didn't think about, who is actually being affected in this instance. And Ethan's family and his kids are being affected. I just because I don't like Ethan, I think it's wrong to find an attack vector that is his kids. It's foul. It's not okay. And I think it was wrong for me to use the Destiny screenshot as a cudgel to make my point. I didn't need to use the Destiny screenshot to make my point. There's a million other ways I could have done it, but I didn't. And I regret that I didn't, and I regret that I ever put that screenshot on my live stream. That's the main reason why I feel like I do need, for myself, for my soul, to own up to this and acknowledge that I went too far. It wasn't okay. Ethan and Hila and their family do not deserve that. At the end of the day, whatever happens with the lawsuit is what it is. For myself, I needed to make it known on the internet that what I did was wrong, and I don't want to be that person. I don't want to behave that way. I want to make content that I'm proud of. I don't want to give in to a harassment back and forth online. I want to put my energy into making content that I can be proud of and that I'm not going to be ashamed of because I lost the plot. I want to stay focused. I want to check in with myself and know what it is I want to be and what I want to do and what message I want to spread. And this isn't a message I want to spread. So I'm sorry to Ethan and Hila and your family. You guys didn't deserve that. I'm going to think about all of this a lot more, I'm sure. But for now, I really do want to just get back to making the content that I want to make.
And everything that he wants to make is crap nowadays, so we're probably just gonna go right back to making the same shit.
Having said all that, I wish everyone the best. I genuinely want to see a better world, and I do not want to be a contributor to what makes it terrible. So long.